Welcome to the Fredonia Central School Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, October 8th, 2024. We start every meeting with a pledge to the flag, so please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have a proposed agenda for tonight's meeting with a consent agenda. It includes all personnel and all new business tonight. Is there anything that they would like to have pulled from the consent agenda?
Not so much pulled, but we do need to make an adjustment tonight. So as seems to happen, a lot of times, literally in the hours, minutes leading up to the board meeting, we have an adjustment. So if you look under personnel, which is 6A1, we were planning on having a resignation, which has since been withdrawn, which is a good thing because that means the employee is going to stay on board and report to work tomorrow. So we're excited about that. So we're going to remove 6A1 from the agenda.
Any comments on that or questions? So, do I have a motion to approve this consent? Mr. Marshall, thank you. A second?
Second.
Ms. Bella, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right. Well, so we move into our first public commentary for tonight. And I'll read the details on that. The board has reserved this time to hear comments from the audience. Those wishing to address the board are asked to stand, give their name and address, and limit their comments to 5 minutes or less per individual group. Concerns and comments during this session should be directly related to anything that's on the agenda. There's commentary at the end for anything that's not. Do you have anyone who would like to address the board tonight? Okay. Got some students back there, thank you. Mr. Newell's class? Yes. Okay. So we'll move right on then. So next we have the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting from September 24th. Did I have a motion to approve those minutes? Mr. Aldrich, a second?
Second.
Ms. Hahn, thank you. Any comments on the minutes from September 24th? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. So, right on to the financial treasurer's report. So we got budget, status, investment, and revenue. Mr. Forbes?
Yeah, not a whole lot of activity in the month of August, which is typical. Biggest revenue source was about $20,000 worth of non-resident tuition coming in as part of the contract, is they have to pay 25% before they start school. Nothing unusual on the expenditure side. Investment rates through August are still holding good, and you'll see that begin to decrease as we get into the next few months because they're down almost a percentage point from where they were in July and August. So still doing good, still ahead of the game with that, but not as much revenue. Other than that, I don't have any other comments on it.
All right. Any comments on that at all? Good. That leads us to the treasurer's report. Do I have a motion to bring that to the table?
So moved.
Mr. Marshall, thank you. A second?
Second.
Ms. Hahn? Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Forbes, treasurer's report?
No comment on that, everything's good.
Any questions? All good. It's early in the year, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, moving right along, we now need to approve the appointment of Kathy Wright to the position of Assistant to the Tax Collector. Could I have a motion to bring that to the floor?
So moved.
Ms. Gallo, a second?
Second.
Mr. Marshall, thank you. Dr. Zoyax, Mr. Forbes, is this in line with last year?
Yes, she got paid $900 last year, and Kathy, as some of you may recall, was our tax collector for many, many years, and opted to retire from that. But as part of me taking over the tax collection side for the district, she was willing to come on board at the front end and do some of the things as far as separating out those and coding stuff that I don't really have much background with. So it's an invaluable help to me to get that done. We don't have to do it here now.
Yeah, it seems like it's good investment for what's done. Any other comments on that at all? No? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Let's see, the final item under finances for tonight is the approval of a rental agreement for children's educational services at Wheelock School. Could I have a motion to bring that to the table?
So moved.
Ms. Mello?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Marshall. Is this the Little Seeds up at Wheelock?
It is, yep. As you might remember, this is an annual resolution. Little Seeds has been a great partner for us at the Early Childhood Center at Wheelock. Happy to have them with us and part of what's happening down there. And, you know, each year, as we've kind of estimated roughly with increases, we've tended to be right about 3.5% increase, which this contract represents. So, keeping on pace with costs while still, I think, being a reasonable arrangement for them as well. So we might say a win-win.
And this is, how long has this been going on? A year, 2 years? Little Seeds then? Longer than that. Longer than that. Okay.
Definitely
They
excited.
expanded with the, what they're using now.
Right. Yeah, it seems like a really good association with EPKK and Little Seeds. So. Yep. Any questions at all? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, well, all consents, personnel and new businesses in consent, so we'll move right into the second round of public comment. Is there any public comment for the second round? Good. This is lightning speed here. Superintendent's report.
Yeah, I do have a few things, but we'll keep it rolling. A pretty good clip here. Well, one of the things that you might have noted on the agenda is a reference to our safety plan. And what you see as part of a board meeting each year is a plan that's more generic and is housed on our website. So anyone has access to this. It is more of a framework that guarantees that we've considered a number of safety items and scenarios. We'll have your procedures and protocols in place to initiate as needed. Details within our procedures are purposely left out of this plan so they cannot be used by those who may have ill intentions. Tim Kathmeyer, who you know is our school safety officer, is incredibly helpful in this area. He utilizes his expertise as a former New York State trooper to help us be as prepared as possible for emergency situations. Much of what is outlined here alludes to our response to a variety of scenarios. As you may know, we have a strong working relationship with Fredonia PD, New York State Troopers, and the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office, who are always here to help keep our plan updated and also to keep our campuses as safe as possible. One of the things that is outlined in this document is the fact that we try to be preventative and proactive in keeping our campuses safe. It asks us to outline some of the things that we do that hopefully helps prevent any dangerous or potentially emergency type situations. So one, just having Tim on board as school safety officer has been a proactive step and really is helpful to the district overall. We have a number of Board of Education policies related to safety. We have a district code of conduct. As we work through disciplinary procedures, we tend to be progressive in that approach, meaning the first time you might violate our code of conduct, there's a consequence, and then in subsequent scenarios, the consequences become increasing over time or with repeated behavior. We have a process through our Dignity for All Students Acts, which someone could file a complaint in which we would investigate and determine if anything happens in the district that would fall under the DASA legislation. We also have our student support services at each building, which includes school counselors, school psychologists, and our social workers, who are doing a lot of work with students as we begin to see problems or concerns, or students working through different things on their own, and they are certainly helpful in that regard. We have our Pride initiative in each building that helps build school spirit and concern for the greater good, and also concern for our school community. We offer a wide variety of extracurricular activities and clubs, which includes groups like our Interact Club, which again brings people together, talks about tolerance and acceptance, and having a sense of belonging in our school district. Each of our principals does an opening assembly at the beginning of each year, when we talk a lot about behavior, expectations, and things that we can do to keep everyone safe. And occasionally we do follow up with another type of assembly throughout the school year. We have student assistance teams at each building. We have second step social emotional learning curriculum that is helping students moderate and manage their own emotions and behaviors. We have safety care training in the district, and we also have a district safety committee and crisis team. And again, these are all ways that we're being proactive, trying to get ahead of things that might happen and result in a dangerous or emergency situation. Speaking of safety, kind of leads into our second thing. We have had some concerns about the election at Wheelock over the last several years. And typically that wouldn't be so much more the local elections, but the national elections like the one coming up on November 5th. There's a number of people in and out of the building while we have students in session. We did our best to try to get that adjusted through a formal process. That request was denied. So the election will be at Wheelock again on November 5th, which is a Tuesday. After consulting with the FTA and our administrators, we would like to swap or flip-flop those days. So we have a conference day on November 1, scheduled as it is right now, and then the election is on November 5th. So that's a Friday, and then the following Tuesday. We would like to switch those days, so on Friday, November 1, we would have a regular day of instruction, as we normally do. And on November 5th, we would then have a conference day. This would avoid any thought that there could be any concerns about our students being in the building at Wheelock while there is people participate in the election in and out of our building. So we just wanted to share that with the board, get any feedback, and really just ask the question, do you have any issues or foresee any issues if we were to make that adjustment?
It's a great idea. Fully support.
I agree. I think that's what being proactive looks like. You're getting ahead of it, and this is the only solution. We can't take the voters out of the building, we have to take the kids out of the building. So I agree.
So you'll message this, well, I assume this is on the calendar, right?
Starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow.
Yeah, we were hopeful that this would be acceptable, so we are looking to announce that and make that shift. Dr. Wright did a nice job. We do have at least one presenter coming from outside of the district, and they're able to adjust to the 5th. So we can also confirm with them that is good to go. A couple other items. As you know, this will be our second year of having a student board of education representative. Mr. Paschke, Dr. Wright, and myself will be doing interviews over the next coming couple of days, and we should have someone in place for our next meeting, which again has been moved to October 17th, originally scheduled for October 22nd. So we are excited about that. Also in the realm of items we typically bring up here, we wanted to remind everybody that we are looking at a $100,000 outlay project again this year. Those are annual things that we do. The one that we just finished up at Wheelock was for paving and some flooring in the building. That went very well. That's been wrapped up. And the one that we're looking for later in this year would involve two things. One is an upgrade to the playground here on the main campus. There'd also be some flooring work inside at the elementary school as well. As of right now, our plans are to add some, not all of the area, but some rubberized surface, pathways leading to different parts of the equipment, also increased rubberized surface underneath some of those pieces of equipment for safety. We would also have a couple new items, new pieces that any student could enjoy and participate and have access to. So we're excited about that. We're just finishing up the design phase and look forward to this getting done later on in the school year. Also wanted to just touch on our capital project that is proposed at our next meeting. A couple things should happen. We should have some finalization of our environmental study, which would actually be in the form of a resolution. We potentially, assuming that there's nothing there that would cause us to delay, we would then finalize that December 12th would be the vote of the capital project between 2 and 9 p.m. right here at the high school cafeteria. And we would also have a resolution that finalizes the language for the ballot on the night of December 12th. So those things should be in play and moving forward, and just wanted to remind everybody that that is still in progress as we speak. Lastly, we had a couple things we talked about in our last meeting. One was this idea of providing feedback for the graduation pathway conversation that's happening at the state level. Thank you if you did that. The window closed on October 6th, but we appreciate anybody who was willing to engage in that thought exchange. And also a reminder that there's an ongoing discussion at the state level, but also locally, around regionalization. How is it that school districts can work together to maximize the education for their students? And a number of us will be attending a meeting tomorrow night at SUNY Fredonia, which will be facilitated by our district superintendent, David O'Rourke. So that discussion is continuing and will be ongoing probably throughout the school year about ways in which school districts can work together. So that's all I have. Any questions, comments?
Any further comments? Okay, thank you, Dr. Ziliak. Sure. So our next Board of Education meeting has been moved up to Thursday, October 17th, so next Thursday at 6 p.m. So we're moving that up to accommodate these resolutions. So, yep. So yeah, so let's open up to any further comments from the board. I think I'll start off with in September last month I attended the BOCES meeting, and one of our goals as a board is to increase our visibility of BOCES meetings, Chillicothe County School Board's meetings, NISPA events, and thank you to all you board members here. You've all signed up for a meeting over the course of the year. It's a monthly meeting, so I think we're attending six meetings. At least we're signed up for that. And when I attended, they were very happy that I was there. They were very appreciative, and yeah, I look forward to hearing about that. One thing they did mention is just an FYI, they're having their annual open house on October 24th, and they were very interested in knowing if we could, one of us might be able to go, so we'll see if that can happen. Any further comments? All right, we're going to move right into Mr. Bastian. Oh my goodness, yeah, you're there already.
I wasn't ready. We just finished up Spirit Week, homecoming, all of those fun activities. It went well. Unfortunately, we didn't win our football game, but it was still a great week nonetheless. I just want to give a shout out to our student leaders, because every year when we do Spirit Week, we select different themes for each one of the days where the kids dress up. And our student leaders were very mindful of, it's expensive if people have to go out and buy stuff to do those days. So they pick things that most students would be able to do without any expense, and I think that was appreciated, and it really shown that in the high school, the amount of participation was higher than ever. So it was fantastic. This past Monday, we did a Wear Pink Day to remember Jessica Sinclair, who passed away last year. Pink was her favorite color, and her birthday was over the weekend. So our Unified Sports program, which she was a part of, thought it'd be really cool just to remember her, so we did that as a school as well. Lastly, I just wanted to mention, if you remember the last meeting, I said that we had a semifinalist for the National Merit Honor Scholarship, and the student was made aware, and it is Ben Fight. He's one of our seniors. I'd like to give a little write-up to the Observer and get a picture in there, so we'll get that off to you. We thought about ways that we would celebrate this, so as I looked at this a little bit more, in February, there's a next stage to this where they pick the finalists that move on, and just based on Ben's score, like there's a cutoff for New York State. Each state has its own cutoff, and I feel like Ben's was significantly higher than the cutoff, so I think his chances of being a finalist will be pretty high. So I'm thinking that maybe as a school celebration, we'll just wait till February. Either way, if he moves on or not, that's when we'll do the celebration instead of doing two things for him. That just kind of be like weird, I thought. So we'll celebrate in February as a school, and I just want to say congratulations to Ben. Just a fantastic student, very bright, and just a wonderful, kind young man.
Thank you. Yeah. Friday night at 6 p.m. I looked out the window, started to rain. I thought, oh yeah. And I came to the game, but all the kids were there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They were there in force. It was great.
Through the rain.
I think the last 2 years we had a little rain for the parade.
Yeah. Well, they still showed up.
That's good.
Great support.
Yeah. Fantastic. Great week. Great night.
What's behind us?
Yes, so to echo that, we had a tremendous amount of participation for our Spirit Week theme days too, both for students and staff. And I know the middle school and elementary school tried to mirror what the high school had suggested for the theme days, just for ease for families who have multiple children across the district. So we had, again, had a tremendous participation. Many of our students were involved in the parade in some capacity, athletes, that kind of thing. So that was exciting. Our Service Learning has recently kicked off a canned food drive, partnering with the Feed Fredonia Food Pantry. So that's running until October 17th. So we're making those collections now. And finally, our musical has kicked off. So rehearsals have begun, and there was a lot of enthusiasm at the end of the day before rehearsals. So they're underway with the show in November.
What's the show?
What it is?
Junior.
What is it?
Susical Junior.
Okay.
Yes.
Always enjoy that.
Yes. Lots of participation and tremendous amount of students that came out to audition. So yeah, it's exciting.
And thanks for all the homecoming for both of you, because it's, in a past life, I used to do that stuff, and it's a lot of work, so.
You probably didn't have the overalls though.
Never.
You got the cool overalls.
You did.
I would not. That's not me. Ms. Farrell.
I just want to highlight a couple of things coming up. So on Thursday of this week, a few of us are heading to the Hobson Hill Staff Day Annual Special Education Conference to gather some new benefits. So we'll be sure to share out after that. And then also that same evening, Thursday evening, we are hosting here a free parent workshop. So it'll be in Mrs. Tomaszewski's room, high school room 501. And a woman named Christy Moscato, who I know a little bit. She works for Person-Centered Services, so she's going to provide information to parents who have children with developmental or intellectual disabilities about OPWDD services, eligibility, how to apply for those services, what those services are. So I also partnered with our neighbors from Dunkirk and asked them to invite their parents in as well. So hopefully we have a nice turn.
Great. Thank you. Ms. Wright, anything going on for you?
Well, Mr. Forbes and I have been tag teaming the grant process, so we've been working through those ESSA grants, and those again are our Title 1, 2, 3, 4 grants that we are allocated every single year from the federal government. And kind of shout out here publicly is those things really depend on the student count of what are the free and reduced lunch forms that are returned to the district every single year. And so one of the things we did in these meetings, because we have to share out and collaborate with very specific stakeholders, are one of the requirements for these grants. And we're really trying to partner with the PTO and other entities outside to get the word out, because oftentimes it's misunderstood that when all of our students meet the eligibility criteria, that then the paperwork doesn't have to come in. But quite honestly, if the paperwork doesn't come in, then it shows that we don't have need, and then ESSA dollars are kept back. So it's really, really critical to help families understand that they may be eligible for free and reduced lunch. And I, as a parent, would be confused if I said, but my child already receives that, why would I fill out this form? So while I would never want to remove the free reduced lunch for our students, and being eligible as a district, it does do us a disservice if we can't help communicate and share out that we really, really would encourage all families to please return the free reduced lunch if they're eligible. And everything is right there on the form, the eligibility there in English and in Spanish. We have them available on our website as well. So we're trying to get that out into the community to understand, and it's a completely confidential process. So it isn't like anybody's data or information is shared, and we simply give a number. So it helps us to be able to say, this is our number of students, therefore our percentage. And the federal ESSA, Every Student Succeeds Act dollars are directly tied to that number. So it's a really critical process for us. We use that money. Title I funds are used to, they directly pay salaries for teachers who work in intervention roles. And then Title II is our professional development. It's things like speakers coming in or facilitators coming in. It's like our STEM initiatives. There are so many things. Our teacher mentor program. Title IV is PD, professional development for administrators, for teachers, other resources like that we wouldn't otherwise have. They don't come out of the general fund. They aren't tax dollars for our community. So it's really imperative we help our community understand that free and reduced lunch form is critical for every public school to be able to continue the funding process year after year.
A confidential form, do we have to hit a certain bar to get the money, or does it go up for every?
Correct. It's directly tied to the number of students out of your total student population who meet the threshold for free and reduced lunch.
Threshold, we don't get the money.
It's just according to your threshold. So if you have 2 students, your threshold will be 2 students. If you have 100, it's 100. In our case currently, so what we put into our data this year is what then gets paid the following year. So according to our data, that was our allocation for this year, we had 536 students out of our entire student body who had completed those forms and qualified for free and reduced lunch. So it's just under a 40% threshold.
So it's very important to get these confidential forms in.
Very important.
Thank you. Mr. Forbes. Ms. Morrison?
Just a real quick note for the board members. NISBA, which always has their annual convention, has started to do something new this year and having digital access, which I know Sheila and I have chatted about briefly back and forth. Knowing that a lot of board members can't make the trek to wherever the conference might be, in this case this year it's New York City, they're now offering a digital experience instead, which gives you access to all of the keynotes and all of the speakers that are happening in the different workshop groups. You can register up until the 20th, even morning of the 21st. I would rather not wait that long, but if anyone else is interested and can let me know by the meeting on the 17th, I can register everybody at once, and then you'll have access as NISBA is happening and after to those activities, those keynote speakers and all of those things.
That's a fantastic
It's a huge resource.
experience. Having attended one in person, it was fantastic this summer. So a lot of great information. So anybody has some spare time, it'd be great to do. Anything else?
No, that'll do it.
I just wanted to chime in, Mr. Drowninger couldn't be here tonight at the last minute, but he sent a couple things he wanted just to be noted. As you recall, we lost a couple of really veteran people from the elementary staff last year, and we have new teachers in, and he just wanted to express his appreciation for our teacher mentors who have really taken people under their wing and got them off to a good start. So thank you to the mentors. He just wanted to acknowledge that we've had some really nice fall field trips. Grade 1 and 2 went to Harvest View, and grade 3 coming up is going to Evangola State Park. So that's exciting and really an opportunity for some hands-on learning and get out and about in the community. And lastly, it is Fire Prevention Week this week, so there's a lot of activities and classes, but Fredonia Fire Department, thanks to them, will be here on Thursday, and they bring the trucks and the students go outside and have a whole experience with the fire department, so we appreciate them collaborating with us on that.
Great.
So, some news from the elementary school. Thank you.
All right, so we have no need to move into executive tonight, so we can close out the meeting, and thank you for everybody that came tonight, all 5 of you. And students, you can, anybody can sign the form up here. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Let's call a thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 30-minute meeting. It won't last. It won't happen in the future. Meeting is now closed at 6:32.